can already start. Boa tarde, bem-vindos. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session, a virtual investment conference on a very important subject, the circular economy and solutions. We hope this conference will be engaging, innovative, educational, and inspiring, providing leading solutions for generations to come. We all here share the same interest to protect the environment we live in. Thank you, Your Excellency, Minister, Mr. Ambassador, Secretary of Spirit, and to all participating on today's event from all over the world. I'm very glad to see you again. The organizer of this conference is Slobraz, Slovenia Brazil Chamber of Commerce. We'd like to give special thanks to the main sponsors of this session: Spirit Slovenia Business Development Agency, Ministry of Economic Development and Technology, Slovenia, and the Embassy of Slovenia in Brazil. Mateo Peroshuk-Chukini is my name, who doesn't know me yet, and I will be your host for today. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat box. I'll bring them up during the presentation if necessary, or we will also have time for questions at the end. To keep the quality of the sound functional during the meeting, please mute yourself when you're not sharing. Today, I will moderate and also give some technical support if necessary, so I thank you for your patience in advance. After introductory speeches, we start with first panel, presenting the circular clusters. Then follows the second panel, where startups will present their solutions. Third panel on fashion circular economy. And the last but not least, fourth panel on how to invest in Slovenia by legal point of view. Each presenter will have 5 minutes of each presentation. You will be able to share your screen. In case of any technical problems, please send me the presentation on email and I'll try to help you from here. The event will be recorded and available on YouTube link after. May I now request the President of Slobraz, Mr. Matjaž Cokan, to invite in the introductory speech our first speakers to our esteemed audience. Please, Mr. Cokan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Matea. So, bom dia a todos no Brasil, dober dan vsem v Sloveniji. And I see there we have viewers from some other countries, so many thanks also to colleagues from Slovenian Global Business Networking for using your network to spread this invitation around the globe. First, I would like also to thank Slovenian Embassy in Brazil and Spirit Slovenia for your support for our event. And I would like to welcome our guest speakers, Mr. Gorazd Renčel, Slovenian Ambassador in Brazil, and Mr. Zoran Stamatovski, PhD, and Secretary of Foreign Direct Investment at Spirit Slovenia. Both guest speakers will present Slovenia's strategy in circular economy and opportunities for new business. As you all know, Slovenia is one of the greenest countries in Europe, and the same we want for our economy, to be focused on sustainability, innovation, and green technologies. So Matea already mentioned for the 4 panels, but I would just like to point also one of them here, because we are very proud to have in startup panel also the representative of one Brazilian project, which will be presented by Ana Carolina Slivnik, who has Slovenian roots. So you see, we already have a good cooperation between the 2 countries in this field. Well, I wish you a very good conference to everybody, and I hope you find some new ideas and opportunities for your business. Thank you. So I would like to pass the floor to Mr. Ambassador.
Hvala lepa, Matjaž. Bom dia a todas e todos, muito bem-vindos. Lep pozdrav predvsem predstavnikom slovenskih institucij in podjetij. The President of the Slovenian and Brazilian Chamber of Commerce, gospod Matjaž, Director General for Economic Diplomacy at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Šešum, Honorary Consuls of Slovenia in Brazil, and other participants. Let me start by thanking first Slobraz for thinking of me, for thinking of the embassy in partnering with this very important discussion. As ambassador, you get to be invited to a lot of discussions, including the economic diplomacy. But I must say, I have a soft spot for circular economy. This is something that I brought from Slovenia to Brazil, and it's an agenda that we, as the embassy, are quite heavily invested and engaged here in Brazil. Why is circular economy so important for me, for the embassy? Firstly, I represent a country here in Brazil serious and very ambitious about circular transition. It is understood in Slovenia as a new strategic direction and a crucial dimension of any plan of decarbonizing and in fact future-proofing our economy. Circular economy has become an integral, or actually a foundation stone of Slovenia's strategic development agenda, our climate action, and also lately our post-pandemic green recovery program. This is very much reflected in the priorities of the current Slovenian EU presidency, in which you would know that the 6-month presidency of the European Union Council is currently held by Slovenia. So our focus as the EU presidency at this very point is very much on implementation, mainly on the EU kind of internal action plan in the field of circular transition, which means a rather long set of new regulation that need to be actually updated, revised, or completely put on a new footing. And these are meant to emerge they are in the pipeline to emerge by the end of this year. However, equally important, I think, is, and this is more important and more interesting for this audience today, is this global outreach of the EU in terms of circular economy. So Slovenia has its own ambitions in terms of this global outreach. A new center for circular transition is planned in Slovenia, a platform which is meant to share information, exchanging experiences, best practices from circular players around the globe. Mainly the focus is quite regional, mainly on the economies and societies of Western Balkans, but there's a very strong case, I think, also to include actors from the Latin America, and in particular Brazil. I personally am convinced that circular economy should and could be one of the fundamental pillars of the strategic partnership that the EU has with Brazil. To start it, why? There's a lot of talk about green recovery, both on the European side, but also in Brazil. Just yesterday, as those of you who might know, Brazil has presented the Crescimento Verde, which means green growth plan of Brazil. Because it's so fresh, I have not yet had a chance to really analyze it deeply, but I would be very surprised if, in 2021, there are not elements of circular economy or energy efficiency and resource efficiencies that are part of this plan. So there's a natural convergence of this green growth recovery plans from the European side and the Brazilian side. I will also add one reason that is quite obvious, but sometimes forgotten. And that is that, the circular transition is such a profound and fundamental and all-encompassing transition that the economy and society have to go through, that nobody has cracked it yet. The European Union is not done with it, and Brazil is not done with it. Surely there's some countries, some economies who are more advanced in this agenda, and some who are perhaps have some catching up to do. But the fundamental truth is nobody has done it yet. So that means, to me at least, there's in principle a kind of a equal level playing field, which means as a huge and ample opportunity for us to talk, to exchange ideas, practices, and find synergies, especially in the business sector. We here at the Embassy of Slovenia in Brazil have already started laying some groundwork. I think we have learned in the last couple of years, the landscape of circular transition in Brazil, who the players are, who are the movers and shakers in this field. And it's a very dynamic landscape here in Brazil, both from the governmental side. I don't know how many of you know, but Brazil has recently adopted the roadmap for circular economy, which was done by the Ministry of Science and Technology. A very good and comprehensive plan, and we have engaged with the authors of this plan, but also in the civil society arena, where our main partner from the point of view of the Embassy of Slovenia has been Exchange for Change in Brazil. They're located in Rio, led by fantastic Beatriz Luz and her team, and we have had many very fruitful exchanges, and I think the cooperation looking forward has a very bright perspective. They have just this week, and this is completely new, launched a new magazine, the very first of this kind, focused entirely on circular economy, entitled agni.ce, and I'll be happy to maybe share then later in the chat the link, so for all of you to have a look. It's very fresh, not printed, but it's digital. So dear ladies and gentlemen, with everything I just said about the role of government and the engagement that we have as the embassy with government and civil society organizations here in Brazil, I am well aware that the real agents of change, of circular change, are the companies and investors. Sure, as I said, there's a huge role to be played by the governments. There's also a great deal in kind of promoting and advancing the agenda of circular transition to be played by transition brokers, civil society organizations, NGOs, think tanks. However, if at the end of the day, the companies, you who are taking part of this event, and the investors will not recognize, see the potential, see the business opportunities, not only in terms of savings, because we're talking a lot about the saving in terms of circular economy and reusing and just keeping the products and materials as long as we can in the production chains, but also in the new business models and new partnerships, then I believe the circular transition will not happen. And I'm an optimist by nature. So I think this is a very important discussion to be had among you, the companies, the investors, and that's why I will stop very shortly and not spend too much of my time, not time of your time, but rather give you the floor to talk. Present first the companies to present themselves, their potential, their solutions, but also hopefully some magic will happen in terms of matchmaking, of companies seeing the synergies, potential for collaborations, hopefully to breach the circular landscape in Europe, in Slovenia in particular, and in Brazil. I only have two short messages before I conclude. The first one is an invitation. So the embassy, as I said, is very engaged in this field of circular transition, and in less than a month, so November 22nd, which is Monday, and November 23rd, which is Tuesday, we will have a two-day conference, which is focused particularly in the opportunities of circular transition, and in particular in dialogue between European Union and Latin America and the Caribbean, not only Brazil, and not only Slovenia on the other side. So I think a very interesting event you will find. The way, it's still work in progress, but the way we conceptualize it is, it has a high level kind of ministerial level, which will give it hopefully some gravitas and importance of terms of policy. Then two panels which will focus on the two policy issues. But I think the greatest added value of the conference would be the two business panels, where again we would want to bring some of the key actors from the business, from the European side, and from the Latin American and Caribbean side, and two sectors that we chose as kind of to start off this conversation. One is textiles and fashion, where we find a lot of synergies, and the second one is we entitled it living. We started the construction, but we soon realized there's a lot of potential if we just widen the scope a bit and include, for example, furniture, not just construction, energy, which obviously would be such an important part, and circularity in energy, I think, is a new growing theme in this landscape. So this is 22nd, 23rd of November. For any of you who are interested, very well welcome. Miguel Geronimo, who is the economic counselor at our embassy, will stay. I unfortunately will have to leave. But my last message is the embassy is very open for any partnership, any of you who are interested in circular economy, trying to link the businesses from Slovenia and Brazil in this particular field. Our doors are wide open. And as I said, I unfortunately have to leave in about 10 minutes, but Miguel will stay. He will stay on and report back to me. And as I said, very welcome and good luck and good discussion. Thank you very much. Hvala, Mateo.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador Rencho, for giving your valuable insights, and wish a lot of success on that synergy in the field of circular economy. And do please share the dates here on chat of coming events. And now we would like to welcome our next speaker from Slovenia, Mr. Zoran Stamatovski, PhD MBA Secretary of Foreign Direct Investment Promotion Department, Spirit Public Agency, Slovenia. Over to you, sir, please.
Dear participants of the conference, it's a very big pleasure for me to participate in this conference in the other continent. This is my first presentation in Latin America, and I'm very happy that I can cooperate with Slobraz from Brazil. Spoštovani udeleženci konference iz Slovenije, lep pozdrav tudi v mojem imenu iz agencije Spirit Slovenia. Spirit Slovenia is a public agency for entrepreneurship, foreign direct investment, internationalization, and technological development. I'm coming from the Department of Foreign Direct Investment. I'm very sure the circular economy is very vital today for the progress of economy, but even better is when it is connected with foreign direct investment. We are promoting foreign direct investment in Slovenia, and I would like to use this opportunity to show you the advantages of Slovene business and investment environment. Now, first of all, I would like to ask for the short video, and then I will continue my presentation.
Is there any sound?
No.
Can you hear the sound?
No.
We're gonna go again. Yeah. Okay.
Those who trust us appreciate our great geostrategic location. In the last 2 decades, we've also proven ourselves as a trustworthy business partner. Technologically advanced, sustainable, and innovative products helped us boost that trust and made us one of the fastest growing CEE countries. As well as a valued member of leading international associations. Trust in cutting-edge, sustainable and innovative products established our companies as global leaders in niche markets. We've become an important R&D player in the region. Because we know that innovative business needs innovative people. who have a talent for creating value. Our open, stable, and competitive FDI environment, recognized by many global companies. Starting a business is fast and simple. Apart from pro-business climate, Slovenia is a perfect environment to work and live in. Slovenia, a land of infinite potential for your business. Make the most of it.
Thank you, Matea. I will continue. They always said that one short film say much more than maybe 2 hours of talking.
Slovenia is not a large country, but the landscape is highly varied.
Sorry. We're going to continue with the presentation. Yeah. I'm not qualified as a technique. 6 seconds. Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Yes. Next, please. Next one. So in this video, you'll see the most important things why Slovenia is so attractive for foreign direct investment. Our main advantages are excellent geostrategic position, and very easy access to different markets, quality infrastructure. We have a really very modern highway system, and in next years we expect also our railway system will be modernized. We have very stable export-driven economy. Because we are only 2 million country, we have to be very strongly export-oriented, and our workforce is very innovative. Next, please. Some words about our economy. You can see that 85% of our GDP is in export. In 2019, Slovenia has one of the highest growth in real terms of export. Slovenia is a first in trading across borders. On the left side, you can see the countries with which Slovenia making export in very big range. Normally, this majority of these countries are from European Union. Now, our first partner is Germany, then Italy, Austria, Croatia, France, Hungary, Serbia is our country in former Yugoslavia, Poland, and Russian Federation. On the right side, you can see the products in which we are the strongest in export. Next, please. Our logo is Green, Creative, Smart. That means that we have highly capable and productive workforce. More than 40% of young people has at least tertiary education, and 55% of the total working population has completed secondary education. Almost 40% of students graduated in science and engineering. We are very proud on it. This percentage is much higher as in many other countries of European Union. Slovenian productivity ranks above its near neighbors, which are Croatia, Hungary, Slovakia, Czech Republic, and Poland. And we always say that we are not the cheapest one. We don't want to be the cheapest one, but we are really high productive. 84% of working population speak at least one foreign language. Many people also 2 or more languages. It's very hard in Slovenia to find anyone who cannot speak English. Many people in the northern part of Slovenia can speak German. People on the western part, a lot of them speak Italian. On the eastern part, we also have the Hungarian minority, so people can speak also Hungarian. And very important is that from the time of former Yugoslavia, the majority of Slovene people can speak also Serbo-Croatian, what is very good to position Slovenia some sort of bridge to the countries of former Yugoslavia. On the left side, you can see comparison in productivity in industry with our neighbors. We have at the moment almost 96,000 euros per worker, what is the highest number among all our competitors. Next, please. Slovenia has very innovative environment. Research and development is in Slovenia very important. That means that almost 2% of our GDP we allocated to research and development, and 3/4 of that in business sectors. We have almost 5,000 researchers in research and development per 1 million people, what is also above the average of European Union. Slovenia is the 13th in total research and development personnel in business per capita. And Slovenia has very innovative economy through Bloomberg Innovation Index. Here on the left side, you can see that before Slovenia are only Germany, Austria, and Italy in European Union, and we are, let's say, in the range or even higher of the other countries in European Union. Next, please. This is very important data, maybe you didn't know, but UNESCO established first international center for artificial intelligence in Slovenia. Exactly where I am now in Ljubljana is this center that proves that Slovenia is very strong also in the modern technologies as it is artificial intelligence. We are some sort of pioneers in this artificial economy. We are serving as a role model for other similar countries. And the research center is established to provide an open and transparent environment to support the stakeholders around the globe and has very strong action plans for artificial intelligence. Many companies from all over the Europe and also from other parts of the world is coming to Slovenia in last time to visit this center, and they're trying to, together with our experts, to find the solutions for their business ideas or plans. Our center also has a task to advise governments, different organizations, and all other users how to use artificial intelligence in various fields of industry and other sciences. Next, please. I would like to present you three the most important sectors in Slovenia. One of them is automotive industry sector. Slovenia has top export products in this field. We are producer of Renault cars. We are very strong in production of parts and accessories for different sort of vehicles, and also we are producing parts and electric accumulators for electric cars. Slovenia is a global leader in high-end titanium exhaust systems for motorcycles. If you are looking on the television motorbike races, then you can see that all the world, the best motorbikes have exhausting system Slovene production. Slovenia is also very strong in diesel cold start systems for international combustion engines and for gas springs for the automotive industry. Everything is ready for strategic innovation and development partnership. And you can see that we have many advantages in this sector. Next, please. Second very important sector in Slovenia is machining and metalworking sector. Top products are metal fittings and components, metal tools, turbines and pumps. Slovenia is a global leader in high-end titanium exhaust system, lodging winches and firewood processors, craft jet processing machines, industrial knives, and other very, let's say, modern products in machining industry. Next, please. A very modern in Slovenia and very successful sector is also smart factories with industrial automation. We have at the moment 2 factories of the second, the biggest producer of robots. This is Japan, Yaskawa. And because of that, also our companies are using more and more this equipment to improve their production and to make then their products much more usable as before. In tooling, this is smart tools, intelligent interaction of tools and machines. Tool system is an integrated part of the different machines and intelligent tool management. Pilot line with smart platform. Our tool producers produce tools for practically all world producers of cars, especially in Europe for Volkswagen, for BMW, for Mercedes, and for all others. Next, please. Mobility is now also modern in business sector, and Slovenia is also very strong also in this sector. 10% of GDP, as you can see, is automotive sector in Slovenia. Alone, mobility sector has 17% of GDP. Share of exports of mobility products is 20%, and share of innovation in mobility industry is more than 25% of all innovation in Slovenia. Slovenia has established a value chain for mobility. We have a lot of research and development institutions, many producers and components in this sector, production of cars and creation of integrated services. And we also have ACS, this is Strategic Research and Innovation Partnership in Automotive Industry. Next, please. Here are some examples of e-mobility ecosystem. Here you can see one of our producer, LFA, is very well known in direct drive in wheel motors for e-cars. Here you can see a boat on the electricity. Pipistrel is Slovene producer of one of the first Slovene producer in electric planes. We also produce different aircraft system, and we are trying also now to start to produce the sport car named Tušek. Many companies in this field are presented in Slovenia. Here is the list of them, and we are very proud on this results in this sector. Next, please. Some words about simulating business and investment environment. Here you can see, you heard that Slovenia is on the 3rd place, at least restrictive countries among OECD members. This is very important data. Also, many countries which are more developed in Slovenia are not so have more restrictions. Starting a business in Slovenia is really very fast and simple. You need only 2 procedures which are required to register a company at 0 cost. The reason is also because our agency co-financing these activities for foreign companies. And you need maximum 5 days for registration of a limited liability companies. Where is minimum funding capital 7,500 euros. That is also very low money. We have efficient clearance procedures, make quick and reliable movements of goods. Some words about our taxes. our corporate income tax is 19%, but it's very important that we have 100% tax relief in research and development investment, and till 40% of tax relief for if investment. That means when you invest machinery and all other things for new company, you have 40% tax relief on the amount of this equipment. And 45% tax relief we have for employment of certain categories of job seekers that are mostly first workers, young workers, and also people older than 50 years. Profit repatriation tax in Slovenia is 15% and 0% for EU residents. We have two rates of value-added tax. 22% is standard rate and 9.5% is reduced rate. And capital gain tax depends on the period you are the owner of the papers, and it's becoming lower more time you have these papers. We have our agency have incentives when you invest it in manufacturing industry, in service activities, and research and development activities. Next, please. Some very short words about the incentives for FDI in Slovenia. You are able to get up to 25% of eligible costs for large enterprises when investment value is at least 15 million and 50 new jobs in manufacturing industry, 3 million and 40 new jobs in service industry, and 3 million and 20 new jobs in the research and development industry. In the case of strategic investment, when you have direct negotiation with the Ministry of Economy, it is possible when the investment is minimum 40 million euros and has 400 new jobs and 20 million and 200 new jobs in research and development industry. Tax reliefs I talked about before. Next, please. Our agency, Spirit, is one-stop shop for foreign investors and buyers of Slovene products and services. And also, if any company from Brazil wants to make cooperation with any Slovene company, we can also help them. Because we are in 100% ownership of Slovene governments, all of our activities are completely free of charge. And if you have intentions to do anything in Slovenia in business, you are very welcome, invited, and coming to us, and we will help you from the start to the end of your project. Next, please. These are our contact data. This presentation will stay also on Slobraz. If you need the presentation or if you need this data, you can get from them. And I would like to invite you. Next, please.
Yeah, please do that.
Yeah, it is our conference. No, 10th of November, our agency organized virtual investment conference. And if anybody of you would like to participate on this conference, you are very welcome. You are very warm welcome. And there you can find a lot of more information about Slovene investment environment and also projects which could be interesting for you. Thank you for your presentation, for your participation in this.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary Samatowski, on presenting how to invest in Slovenia. We have some questions maybe, but we're gonna probably use them more on the end of our event because we have to move forward. So now we're gonna go to invite Ms. Nina Meglic. She is Head of Project Management Office, SRIP, the Strategic Research and Innovation Partnership Networks for the Transition into Circular Economy within Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Steyerska Region, Slovenia. Please, Ms. Miglic, go on with your presentation.
Hello,
Hello.
thank you for introducing me. Should I share my screen or are you going to post my presentation?
Go ahead, you can share.
Okay, just a moment, please.
Please note down all the questions. We're gonna bring them up at the end of Q&A section.
While I'm searching for the presentation, just a few words regarding the strategic partnership. So as you already mentioned, I'm coming and working at the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Steyerska. I am the head of project management office and national coordinator of this strategic partnership. The partnership was established as part of the smart specialization strategy, which is implemented in Slovenia on national level by the Slovene Office for Cohesion Funds. Okay, so
Do you want me to try? You can. And I can try to do it from here.
here I am now opening the presentation.
Just give me orders with next.
Our members will also
Can you see now? I'm sharing.
yes, okay, yes, thank you very much. Our members will also present themselves today in the following minutes, and they will show the technologies that are developing in the field of circular economy. So we can move to the next slide. As I mentioned, we have a smart specialization strategy in place. In the process of entrepreneurial discovery, we defined on the national level 3 niche areas where Slovenia would like to develop in the following years. These are digital, circular, and industry 4.0. Just this week, we received the new version of this smart specialization strategy. So we are renovating and we will see where this leads us in the new financial perspective till 2027. So the strategic partnership is like a tool for the execution of the goals of the smart specialization strategy. So since our strategy is on 9 priority areas and one of them is circular economy, we then applied to coordinate this partnership. And what we are doing is we are connecting stakeholders that are present in the national ecosystem, innovation ecosystem, with the aim to develop new technologies in this relevant area. And for that purpose, we make different services to our members. We organize conferences, we promote them, we take care of their internationalization activities. We offer them a business and project consultancy, and we collaborate intensely with the state representatives, state officials in the shape up of legislation in the field of circular economy, tenders, when we have to submit some big national projects, things like that. So our members are, currently we have 78 members. These 55 are companies, 15 are NGOs, and 17 are research and development institutions. On this picture, you can see our business model, let's say. So we have a program council which determines the activities and their content. We have an action plan in place, and this program council, sorry, we should go back.
It's some technical problem. And it's,
yeah, so then we have the governing board and the technology council. The co-founders of the SRIP are University of Maribor faculty for chemistry and chemical technology and the National Institute of Chemistry. We are up and running from 2016, and we will finish in 2023, but we aim to prolong this operation even further because it's linked to Slovene smart specialization strategy, and this will be also relevant till in the next financial period to 2027. Okay, we can go, yeah. So here you can see what is the action plan and the business development strategy of the partnership. As mentioned, we were established in 2016. During the last few years, we were working a lot in order to get the members to start running, and we were successfully evaluated. So on the basis of the evaluation, our project was prolonged to 2023. So now we are shaping up services to enter the market and to get financing, which will be independent of the state. The vision of the partnership is to sustainably increase the efficiency and competitiveness of Slovene economy in the transition to circular economy. We are working.
Focus area number 1, sustainable energy, has 3 technological areas: waste to energy, energy optimization and materials efficiency, and renewable
Focus
energy.
area number 1, sustainable energy.
Focus area number 2, which is biomass and
you have a video that is playing in the back? Is there any video that you have in your computer?
No, sorry, I don't know.
Okay. This is the focus area number 1, sustainable energy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This is so we are functioning on several focus areas. The first one is sustainable energy, and these are the technological areas: waste to energy, energy optimization, and renewable energy resources. On the basis of these technological areas, we also established value chains. So this means that each technological area that is determined here also has concrete collaborations behind, and these are between research institutions, companies, and NGOs, as well as business support organizations. These entities are then implementing projects that are financed either by the state or Horizon, or they have bilateral economic contract established. We can go on.
Focus area number 1.
Focus area
number 2, which is biomass and alternative materials, has
Honey,
2 technological areas:
Your presentation
conversion
kind of voice.
of waste biomass into lignocellulose biomass, and alternative raw
We have some
materials.
kind of presentation that.
Focus area
Oh my
number.
God, it's going automatically forward. I'm not putting my fingers on the board.
Okay, maybe I should share mine.
No, it's okay. Yeah, you will have to stop sharing. You stop sharing because I think we're simulating sharing, both of us. So go on, please. Sorry.
I don't share anything actually, so I don't know what this
I'm
is.
sorry. It's a focus area number 2.
Yes, it's biomass and alternative materials.
Yeah.
We have 2 technological areas here: biomass and alternative raw materials. The same goes as with focus area number 1, sustainable energy. We have concrete projects in biomass, especially we have a very strong wooden value chain in Kočevje region in part of Slovenia, which you might know because it's very comprehensively covered with wood. Okay.
Focus area number 3, which is secondary. Focus area number.
Yeah, so the secondary raw materials, technologies for transformation of waste or byproducts, technologies for recovering waste products, extraction technology of useful and toxic materials, and here we also collect data in order to approach industrial symbiosis. You probably have heard of this concept, which is very relevant for circular economy. This means that we promote companies to use each other's waste. So one's waste can be another's secondary resource. And this we have quite some good examples of this in Slovenia already. It seems that yes, I've
focus area number focus
the presentation with my subtitles. I'm sorry for that. Focus area number 4 are functional materials. These are nanomaterials, advanced functional composites, advanced energetic materials, ceramics materials, and conductive composites. Here we are talking about materials that can be used in textile, in construction, in paper. Here we also have a project, for example, for the creation of secondary raw materials out of waste food. So it's very diverse. Next one, please.
Focus area number 5 is processes and technologies.
Yes.
And the technological areas are bio-based green chemicals and materials. Focus area.
Focus area number 6. So number 5 are processes and technologies. Here we look at the bio-based green chemicals and materials, production processes and polymer processing, biotechnological compounds, and production of compounds and new production equipment with management. So this is like a cross-cutting area where we look how to adjust the technologies in order to become more green. Then the focus area number 6, circular business models. This is eco-design and life cycle analysis. You've probably heard of these two very important aspects of transitioning to circular economy when it comes to changing linear business models to circular business models. So we educate our members about these methodologies, and we also offer them links to people in Slovenia that have the know-how and the means to execute this. We are very much investing our resources also to link digitalization, so the digital and the green transition, which is very trendy and important in order to achieve the sustainable goals and the European Green Deal ambitions. We offer to members business and project consultancy and the means to market their green achievements in Slovenia and abroad. Okay, we can go on. And going global, so we take care of integrating our members into the European research area. This means we collaborate in project proposals, Horizon, Vanguard Initiative. So we link on interregional and national, global EU level. We present our members on conferences abroad, and we organize economic delegations. For example, we were now also part of Expo Dubai in Slovenian pavilion. So these are the
Thank you for your
services.
attention.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nina Meglic, for
Yes,
such a useful
here are my contact details. I invite you to look at the webpage because it's it has extensive information on all our members. They're all enlisted, also their projects, what they're doing, so that you can see the concrete results of our connection. But also I will be giving some introductory words to other members that are going to present today with their videos and presentations. So thank you, and I'm sorry for the technical issues with my presentation.
Thank you very much, Nina, and I will see you in a couple of minutes.
Yes,
and good news that we already have some contacts from Ecuador that are actually searching for waste cycling circular economy. So we're gonna contact you directly with them.
Great, thank you.
Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to Ms. Maria Biziak, the Sales Manager of International Investment Corporation of America, Slovenia. Sustainable Environmental Development, please. So we're going to continue also in this panel section, clusters. So Ms. Biziak, please present us with some of your project and their solutions.
First of all, thank you, Matea, for having me here today, for the invitation. And I would ask for share screen. Okay.
Yeah.
So hello, as already Matea said, I work as a sales manager in the International Corporation of America. First, I'm gonna present a little our company, then I'm gonna go fast through our projects. So International Investment Corporation of America, it's an organization that unites more companies like Global Environment Development, Invercoop, and Ti Construye Proyectos. Each company of these contributes on its own to the realization of projects. And we are focused in Latin America because we found there a fast-growing economy and also the market that is focused on sustainable development. As we all know, there are problems in the world like climate change, lack of water, poverty, hunger, and the pollution. And through our projects, we always look for the solutions to get the local areas with the clean water, healthy environment, and healthy food. So we have more than 20 years of realizing projects like this in Latin America. These are some of our past projects. The advantages of our projects were like the construction of roads to the villages that are small and cut off the world. Also, we to get the water from the air. So our current projects are realized in the sector of energy, industry, construction, and real estate. The guarantees we offer are different and also depends of the investor's wish, and we invest banks, mortgage, or government's guarantees. So now I'm gonna just go through some of our projects with the short words. This is our Kamal project. because there was a problem in Peru. They have got more than 70% of the meat that is imported. So through our project, Kamal, we are gonna implement this first industrialized cattle farm, and we are gonna provide the locals with local meat and of course new jobs. Then we have industrial water generator project. This is the new atmospheric water extraction station. This is the first of its kind in the world, and it goes together with the Kamal project. Then we have now currently open for international investors, Modern Resort Luna Juana, which is a construction of luxury resort, where the focus is also on the use of the renewable energy and of course the nature conservation. Then we have waste sorting plant project, because we are very well aware that there in Peru there are almost 90% of the garbage that is daily generated and not recycled. So we are going to change that with the project solid waste sorting plant. We are going to get with this project, of course, new jobs and cleaner atmosphere. Then we have our next project, which is water plants. This project is a solution to the Peru's problem with drinking water. So with this project, we are gonna go to get clean water from the help of the machines directly from the air. So just a little bit of comparison with what we offer and what the competition offers. With our company, there are no intermediaries. We offer, as I said before, a lot of guarantees, as also the Peruvian government's guarantee. And as the most important, we have no additional costs. So why we choose to be working in Peru? Because we believe and we also know that the Peru has the highest economic growth in South America, and also therefore it's ideal opportunity for private investors. So we are open for any collaborations and any questions. You can contact me or you can just see our website. We are always available.
Thank you, Ms. Biziak. You can share in box also your contacts. Mm-hmm. And now I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Vladimir Gumilar, Director of IC Builds, COSME, International Circle Construction Cluster. Over to you, Mr. Gumilar. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me to this. And I'm really happy about it because it is the reaction or the result of the first post on Twitter we made after the opening, let's say, the profile. So it reached the right person on the right time. And I will present our project, a European one, in partnership, which is focusing on internationalization of circular construction solutions. So if I can share the screen, I will do. Just a second. Hope everything will be fine. This one. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you. So firstly, let's introduce myself. I'm Vladimir Gumilar, Director of the Construction Cluster of Slovenia. This is official organization, legal organization, which is coordinator of this project. IC Build is a project and a partnership of clusters in Europe for internationalization And the International Circular Construction Cluster is a new initiative I will talk at the end of the presentation. Our cluster is working since 2004, supporting the companies in construction sector to be more innovative, to develop new solution, and in the recent years to go towards the digitalization and circular economy. And this is our focus and our ambitions to make the sector more circular. We've been involved in different European projects in this time. We are a small cluster, actually, not big, with 15 members. We used to be bigger, but now we are small. SMEs are mainly our members, but we are very, very active in international level, as I said, in different European projects, and in last years also in cooperation between clusters. If you know, there are 3,000 clusters in Europe and 7,000 clusters globally, so a lot of opportunities for collaboration, and we talk all the time about collaboration and partnership. So you will hear this word many times. And we managed to be a coordinator of the first partnership for circular economy in construction. This is ECA partnership, and now we started a new one, IC Build. And this is a project, 3-year project, which is supported by European Commission within the COSME program. We are also networked in Europe in cluster collaboration platform, in European construction technology platform, in Renovate Europe, with skills initiative. So quite active in this field. And with that, we developed a huge network of clusters and other partners. We work together in different projects. Why circle construction? Probably you saw this picture or a figure. It's about circularity gap report. And the gap is not getting smaller, but it increases. But what is important for the construction is this blue part, which defines or shows how much of opportunities is there for resource efficiency and also for improving the climate situation within different solutions which are related to buildings and built environment. And that's what we are focusing on. So it's a huge opportunity. We all know that there is a lot of energy used by construction, that we use a lot of materials, we generate a lot of waste. And in Europe, it's a lot of waste, construction waste already used and recycled, but in many countries around the globe, this is not the case. So this is the opportunity to share new solutions and improve the circularity in the sector in general. So this is actually the aim of our project. And again, why partnership? Because we know that this is not a matter of making a visit in one country, or it's not about trade. It's always about innovation, about new technology to be brought to the market in some collaborative manner, and it takes time. So that's why it's important that there will be like 3 years to work on that. Circle solutions are all solutions which are related to the construction value chain, and there are many fields which are presented in this slide, and there are already implemented. They're being developed, but it's somehow hard to put them to market, even in Europe. So this is our ambition, and all this is on us in these 3 years to find, to make SMEs companies interesting to go abroad with those solutions and to make benefits to both parties in Brazil and in countries which are the partners which are part of this consortium. This partnership is one of 4 types of partnership which is supported by EU. The other 3 are also relevant, but let's go to partnership for internationalization. And concretely, our is focusing on cooperation in internationalization for circularity in the building environment. This is the title, but actually it's our aim. And we would like to support the internationalization of complex circular solution integrating construction value chain. We identified together 5 third countries, also among them Brazil. And as I said, the project as such started actually on 16th of September. So after a month of work, we already presented on this kind of event as Slobraz workshop. So I'm very happy as a coordinator that this is the case. As I said, this is international project, international in terms of European, in terms of partners, which come from Slovenia. We are the coordinators, construction cluster of Slovenia. There are 2 Italian partners in field of lighting and eco design of buildings. There are 1 partner for Poland, from Hungary, and from Serbia. So this is the partners which gather more than 300 SMEs or something like that, which might be interesting for doing some internationalization activities and to move to this area. The project is a project with different goals and ambitions, and one ambition is to set up this partnership among us, and the second one is to set up partnership with partners in those third countries, including Brazil. And we would like to address this third market in this collaborative partnership approach. Why this is important for SMEs? This is explanation, but not for European SMEs only, because there is a growing demand in terms of regulation. Mr. Ambassador presented a couple of things at the beginning. So this will be more or less some kind of must very soon. And what is more important in terms of, let's say, investors, is that they have to move their money towards the more green technologies, and circular technologies are for sure greener. So it's much more easier to get money for that kind of technologies and development as for any other. But on the other hand, which is also very important, it's our responsibility for the global for the world as such. As already said by the ambassador at the beginning. So this is everything very important to take into account. It's a project with different work packages, with different activities in those 3 years. So it's not only about organizing a mission on third market, but it's also about developing strengths and competencies of SMEs to be able to address the internationalization as a new, maybe also new area of their business, and then also to implement that on the target third countries. So this is the presentation of the action plan for the project. It's about mapping the clusters, competencies, and the SMEs, the companies, in terms of internationalization, what they have to offer, what they can offer in terms of solutions. Then we have to train them to make them able to do that, we have to develop a strategy, find ways to set up collaboration with the partners in third countries, implement that, organize missions. The plan is at least in three third countries, and do follow-up activities like reverse visits of partners from those countries in Europe, and to continue work within international circular construction cluster after the end of the project. That's simply or shortly project presentation. What will be the main results? The ambition is to support more than 300 companies in Europe to have some kind of benefits from being more capable of doing international business to making actually some contracts, agreements with businesses in third countries. And what it's more important for us, there is a goal that we set up some 18 partnership with different actors in those countries to assure sustainability of this process, because we know that it's not easy to get to new markets, and we have to work on that on longer basis. Also with the collaboration with embassies and other organizations which support this process from these 4 countries. And who will benefit? Who is the actors which are here? Important. Firstly, clusters. We would like to set up collaboration with clusters because they are, in this domain of collaboration, and they know what I'm talking about. So this is the most effective way to go on. Of course, then are the companies which are or have something to offer in the circular construction, green, sustainable building, and are interested, of course, for internationalization. Of course, we are looking for companies, but also support organization and investors in these new technologies in those third countries. So that's why I'm really happy to be here, and that some of organizations which would like to invest in new green technologies are present. And of course, as I said, partnerships with supporting organization of those countries, setting up some kind of agreement to go on with these activities also after the end of the project. Because we are on the start, we cannot show what kind of the portfolio of solution these 5 clusters can have and their members. And we can invite you to follow us on social media. As I said, the first Twitter post was went to the right, let's say, account or ears. Contact us directly, no problem. Email any type of tool, Zoom, Team, and so on. And we would like to be invited to events you organize, and we would like to invite you to events we will organize in terms of matchmaking and knowing each other better.
Thank you, Mr. Vladimir. So share all your contacts on the chat box here, please. And we quickly move forward now. And we welcome to present Mr. Marko Kreiner, CEO, co-owner and founder of 3Zen. Please, over to you, Mr. Kreiner. Marko Kreiner, are you with us?
Yes, I'm in.
Okay.
Can you show presentation?
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Okay, I should by myself.
Yes.
Okay. Then I need to open it. First of all.
Click on share and has to come out. So as we with Mr. Kreiner to find this presentation, we invite you to give all kinds of questions to our chat box, and shortly we're gonna we're gonna ask all the presenters the questions.
Okay.
Good
Okay,
to
can
see
you see my presentation now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Good afternoon or good evening to all of you from Athens. This time I'm in Greece, business trip this week. So thank you, Srip, Nina, for inviting me. I will shortly present my story or our story, how we are handling with circular economy and our approach. So,
can you just click on presentation below, please? You have on your PowerPoint.
Can you see now next slide?
We do.
Can you see my second slide?
Yeah, we do.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so 4 partners established company 3Zen 2011. So we are celebrating now 10 years just in October. 3Zen is consulting company. Our areas of activity are dealing with continuous improvement. That means that we consult companies through Lean eyes, or Six Sigma eyes, or some other continuous improvement tools. Then we are providing consultancy and trainings through systematic innovation methodologies. This is much more important. TRIS is Russian theory of inventive problem solving, a Russian tool for engineers and research and development people. Then we are dealing with consultancy and assessments for cradle to cradle. Cradle to cradle, I will mention later, is the only certification scheme who approves circular design products. Then we are dealing with FSC and PFC consultations, assessments, and verifications. Because my background is also wood science and technology engineer, so I'm growing now with FSC and PFC. These schemes are wood-based schemes for wood, paper, packaging, and so on. And as well, EPD is new certification scheme based in Scandinavia. It means environmental product declaration. And also this is now a certification scheme who is coming out. We are working with few partners. Ideation International is a company from the United States who provide next step of trees, ideation trees with additional systematic innovation tools. And our partner is as well EPS Switzerland, Swiss company who is cradle to cradle accredited assessor globally. And also we represent Datalyzer International, that's software tool for some control tools, mostly for industry. Trainings and workshops which could be implemented into circular economy are Six Sigma, Green Belt trainings, Lean Six Sigma, and other Lean production, Lean office, and some other workshops. I will not talk so much. These are tools mostly for industry. As well in systematic innovation, some creative technologies, and as well trees with different levels of knowledge. What is important for circular economy? I'm one of 21 people now on the globe accredited as cradle to cradle accredited assessor, and we could issue certificates at the end if companies want to use cradle to cradle certificates for certification of their circular design products. And EPS Switzerland, I'm partner as well in EPS Switzerland, is a company, consulting company, which implement and consult companies, in mostly industry companies, globally in all sectors and the industries. We don't only jump into medicine and pharmacy. And EPS Switzerland is, on behalf of EPS Switzerland, of course, is first company transforming textile industry globally, and our projects are now mostly on all 5 continents. Okay, then maybe a few more words regarding Slovenia. some references in the last 10 years. We are mostly in all Slovenian, the biggest companies, industrial companies, all sectors, automotive, packaging, wood production, electronics, and so on. Not in all, but mostly in all. Regarding me and my company as well, my education, wood science and technology, with some additional additional experiences. I had 10 years or 15 years different working experiences only in Slovenia, but I expertises of 3Zen and together now with EPS Switzerland are much higher. We have people in our company who are master black belt trainers and MA3 trainers, different expertises of employees in 3Zen. Since 2017, I'm also accredited assessor based on cradle to cradle certification scheme. And from this year also environmental product declaration lead auditor. Make some exams in Sweden. Never mind what is important. Important is that 3Zen and EPS Switzerland works together, and EPS Switzerland is as a consulting company pioneer worldwide, because EPS Switzerland certified first product 1993. That means almost 30 years, and now this certification is slowly coming, and still cradle to cradle is only certification scheme globally who certify products which are designed for circular economy. Thank you from my side. You have two more links here, and EPS Switzerland link is also translated into seven languages, also in Japan. Thank you very much.
Thank you on your presentation, Mr. Marko Krajner, and greetings to Athens, Greece. So
thank you.
If anyone wants to contact with Mr. Marko, please share your contacts in the box. So we continue with the second panel, where we invite startups companies to present us with their innovative projects and solutions. We travel now to Special Eco Village, the project founded by Mr. Jozef May. Please go ahead with your presentation. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Oh, it's okay?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Okay, thank you very much, Matea. I'm very thankful for opportunity to present my project or our project. So I will try to, I'm sorry,
You can see.
Just a moment. Okay, I think this is okay. Do you see it's okay?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the Eco Village I'm saying of the future, especially in these times. The story of Satilu Village starts 10 years ago. We created this project for the needs of the One Road, One Belt project, which didn't start yet, like you know. So in the last 5 years, we developed the project regarding the technology of food production and energy, and etc. So we are talking about the community of 50 eco family farms. We are using 30 farms for aquaponic food production and 20 for the goat dairy farming. So the people who are living, we are hoping that this will be a young farmers or the people who wants to work in farms in a different way. The families live in this village, they work, they get a salary, and they produce the food for the local community. So as it will be seen in the we produce quite a lot big amounts of the food. So this is the houses which people live there. It's connected with the greenhouse where we have an aquaponic system. So every farm has about 400 square meter space for growing food with the aquaponic system. We are using the passive house technology, which gives us the opportunity to save a lot of energy. And in the basement, we have a packaging and cleaning system, a space where we prepare the products for the market. So this is the packaging unit where we packaging the fruits and vegetables and filleting the fish, vacuum packaging, and get ready for the market. I don't know how much you know about the aquaponic. It's very short. This is I'm convinced one of the techniques of food production in the future, because we don't need any soil. We don't use any pesticides. We save about 95% of the water. So the fish is giving through their waste, giving the fertilizer to the vegetables, and the fish is the same time the product which we can sell on the market. And what is very important, that the fish is some kind of guarantee that we have a pure eco circle in food production. So this is the scheme of I can say that the beginning system of the aquaponics is a floating system which give us not so high yields, but it's very efficient and very cheap. But in the meantime, we developed and we include the vertical aquaponic system, which give us at least 10 times higher yields per square meter. So if anybody is interested in this, I can explain and show the information. So this is the renders for that we can grow any vegetable and fruits in this system. And we are coming now to the goat farming. Every goat farm has 100 goats, which is manageable by 2 persons. So we are using the shelter, which is nice for the goats, and we have an automatic milking system. So every farm has 100 goats, so that means we have 2,000 goats in our village. And if we use the information that every goat gives about 3 liters of milk, you can calculate how many milk we have. So we are using the Alpine goats, which are proven one of the best goats for a dairy products. Fatness is perfect, 3.5%. We are using hydroponic barley grass fodder production. Why? Because with this we can go in any climate conditions, because we grow the feed for the animals indoor. So just shortly, for 1 kilo of barley grass, we can produce 7 kilo of this barley food or grass, whatever, in any climate conditions. The water is circulating. We have automatic watering, and in 7 days, as you see in the picture in the middle, we produce one this piece of feed. It's nothing new. It's used in Australia, in some parts of Africa, very successfully. So this is the facility. Just for the information, 300 square meters give us 5 tons of barley grass per day. So we cover all the needs for the feed for the 2,000 goats. Of course, the goats will eat outside too, but we are safe regarding the feed. So this is another picture. We have a dairy facility. On the top, we have aquaponic restaurants where the people can come, sit down, taste our food products like salad with fish and some dairy products like cheese. So mostly 80% in this calculation, 80% of the amount of the milk we convert in cheese, because the cheese is most demanding in not just in Europe, and it's getting popular more and more because of the benefits comparing with the cow milk products, which I believe you know. So this is equipment in a dairy facility. All the houses are equipped with the furniture, middle class, so it's a nice place to live. 80 square meters for one family with 2 or 3 children, more than enough. So it's a kindergarten for 150 children. It's eco, built already one. It's a copy of the design, which I like it. It's from Slovenia. This is the Congress Center where tourists coming to. We organize the events, master classes, presentations, and we meet the visitors here before of the visit tours through the village. Drone delivery is not a fantasy, it's real already, like, you know, Amazon and some Australian farmers getting the medicine because they live far away, and some parts for the mechanization. You have a golf course in England where you can get the beer if you're thirsty. So it's nothing new, and we use this Australian technology, which give us opportunity to transport 2.5 kilos, which is enough for one package for family, fish, vegetables, or maybe some cheese in it. So depends where is the location. This is the headquarter office. Like you probably understand, we have quite the team of management, transport, quality, education programs, so supplying, etc. So this is Satilu is some kind of nice factory, and we have a central warehouse where we keep the products before they go to the market. So this is our products. We have from aquaponics system, we have vegetables and fruits. We have dairy products like cheese. This is soap, milk, cheese, how to say, cottage cheese, yogurt, and of course we have a fillet fish or all fish, and the meat, which is not calculated in this project, but it can be usable because we have about 4,000 fish, 4,000 goats per year more if we calculate 2 baby goats per goat. So it's our selling channels. We have we sell directly to the market, which we open in the village if it's close to the city, or we open our market in the center of the city. So we sell directly through our market, city market. We have a street food where we can sell the cheeseburgers, fish and vegetables, and some dairy products, and milko machines, which is quite popular in Slovenia. We can sell the fresh milk with the cheese and even fish from refrigerators. Satilu home delivery, so like Halo Pizza, Halo Satilu, and drone delivery. And of course, in Congress Center, we have some shop where the visitors can buy our products. This is the energy scheme. We have a hybrid system. Like I said in the beginning, we use all the facilities are made in energy saving standard, built by with isolation, etc. And we use of course solar energy, and we are using the biogas, and now we convert it to gasification system, so we can use our own waste, bio waste and other waste to produce heating and electricity for the village. And of course, it's possible to use the waste from the local community or the city which is another benefit for the local community. So the investment value is 15.5 million without the land. There is a general just calculations, financial data, which is generally, of course, we will have to do it again based on the location and the market and prices. But I'm sure that so here we have hydroponics products connected with the different channels, and the dairy products, cheese, goat milk, and others. And based on this information, we can be sure that the return on the investment is maximum 5 years. We did include the farming tourism, which is a huge potential. We expect that a lot of people will want to see this village. Even some of them will want to stay and work with us. There is, like I said in the beginning, approximately 4,000 baby goats every year. We have to decide what to do with them. We can sell them or we can use it to increase the capacity. And of course, the master classes, educational programs, and etc., which it's another benefit and income which is not calculated here. So this is the smallest Satilu village with the 50 eco farm, which so it's possible to build it more. There is practically no limit, just based on the possibility of land and of course the investment. This is the one of the renders of the village, which has 300 eco farms. This is the timeline. We can build if the land is ready in near one year and a little bit more. I must say that this information came from the specialists which are included in this project. I will mention this in the end. So in this project, in the moment, there is 15 Slovenian companies included. I'm talking about the company which support us and help us to create technically and designably this project. So we have companies which support us with the equipment, with all the guarantees, and there is German companies, and the last one is a Finland aquaponic software company which support us with software for the vertical farming. So that's in short. So if we are looking, I must say that in Slovenia we get the support, and we have a land 16 hectares which is needed for this project from some part of the Slovenians. We are looking for support and of course for investment to start with this project. There is a possibility to, and we create a demo center, which is a small version of this village, and which shows all these technologies and the principle of this village. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Meg. Looking forward very much on visiting this village once it's built. Please welcome our youngest presenter today, a Slovenian born in Brazil, Ms. Ana Carolina Slivnik. As Mr. Chokan said in the beginning, the good example of cooperation of two countries. Ana, please share your presentation.
So good afternoon, dober dan in Slovenian. First of all, I would like to thank everyone here today. And also I would like to thank Mr. Mattia, the president of the Slovenian Chamber of Commerce in Brazil. Also all members of Slovenian embassy that are here. And also Mattia that invited us to be here today. So I'm here to represent my group, but my colleagues are also here. They are Stephanie, Milet, and Vanessa Sarkis. They are here with us today. So our project is basically focused on the extraction of pectin from orange fruit to produce a biofilm that can be used as an alternative from conventional plastic. I'll share a video that will explain better our motivation, our ideas, and of course our work so far. And if you have any questions, I'll be pleased to answer at the end of the event. So thank you very much for your attention. Our project is very complex. We have a lot of information to share with you. So if you have interest in our project, we are going to write our emails in the chat box so you can contact us. We'll be pleased to explain more about our idea and all of the details of our material that can be really promising to the future of our planet. So thank you very much.
We enjoyed this short movie. We would really like to hear more details about the project. But thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Stephanie. Congratulations, and very, very curious on project years to come. We welcome now one of the green ambassadors of Spirit, Mr. Robert Slavec, co-founder and CEO of My Water Technology. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for inviting me. To be honest, today we are reporting live from our Portugal mobile. And I will just try to start sharing. Can everybody see presentation?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so hi, my name is Robert, co-founder of My Water, and I really love to travel and be outdoor, but I really hate when I need to buy bottled water in plastic, drink it and throw it away. So what is the problem? Throw away actually is one of the biggest problem. Throw away model. Every day we need 42,000 trucks to deliver this plastic. And we use it around the world more than 1.4 billion each day. And 90% will never be recycled and is coming back to us as microplastic. Our solution is outdoor hydration. We make everything to be more sustainable. And We provide 100% of local water, providing 24 refill service to everybody who is around. We also offer guarantee of the quality with 99.999% of purification. And also we put inside a lot of electronics so we can know what machine is doing. And we can also calculate your CO2 reduction when you're doing refill. So the market we are going after is out of the home hydration. At this moment, only in Europe is over $28 billion per year. And it's growing very rapidly, and in 2026 will be over $42 billion. Our first adopters are municipalities, shopping malls, and sports centers. Why we are doing this? Because we can see incremental shift in the market. Why? Because everybody needs to do the action for developing a sustainable development goals. EU Green Deal says we need to stop using single-use plastic. Non-financial corporate sustainability reports need to be what they're doing about that. And on the end, our children will hate us. So I call this great effect if we don't stop these plastic matters as soon as possible. We think that water refill is really circular economy. Imagine per day providing only 300 refills in one machine, that's 100,000 refills per year. It saves 60 pallets of single-use plastic bottles. It saves 13 tons of CO2 emission and save over 150 megawatts of energy just to produce this and deliver to the people per one machine. So our product is Smart Hydration Station. It's designed and inside we put a lot of IoT sensors so we can see from the distance what is working. We also offer the contactless refill so it can be used also during the COVID. We have a remote management. We know everything what is going on and collecting a big data and doing analytics on bank of the end. So we can provide the reports for our clients. Our business model is water as a service. Actually, we release our hydration station on the B2B or B2G market, and we're really focusing on the clients who have a budget between 1 and 20 million just to invest in sustainability. Plus, we take 12 cents per each refills. Competition is huge, obviously, but everybody on the left side, they're just producing plastic waste. The guys on the bottom left side, they know how to provide a huge amount of water, but they don't know what is refill. There is a couple of the small companies which are doing sustainable service, but we are thinking there is huge gap in the market for outdoor service, providing zero microplastic, providing predictive maintenance and real-time data. So our go-to-market strategy, we partnership with the Solar Impulse Foundations. We started in Slovenia in Port of Koper in 2020. This year, during the summer, we start in Paris early pilots. And on 1st of October, we already start another pilot in World Expo in Dubai, and it will be finished by March of 2022. Our next goal is Paris Olympics in 2024, and we already been signed as one of the suppliers. Our team is very international, coming from 4 different countries. This is just a core team. We have our revenue officers. Aliash is Chief Technical Officer, and Nick is a financial officer, and he used to be an investment manager in BPA France. And my water is my second startup. What we are looking for a financial bridge to the seed round. We need to build a demonstration network, a lot of new team members, and also doing something with marketing and service partnership. We're looking for raise initially investment at $1.2 million to build 100 units for the pilot network and provide 10 million refills for the next 12 months. So if you think that sustainability, refill, and plastic go together, support us, give me a call, contact me. I'm more than happy to discuss more about that. Thank you. I will be more than happy to discuss more questions.
Thank you, Robert Slavitz. I will just do a little jump back because we were really interesting on a project of Anna and Stephanie and Vanessa. So due to short time and delay that we're having a little bit, they thought that only video will work, but we're really anxious to hear a little bit about their project. So I'm welcoming back Anna, just to give us in short words a little bit about their project. Please, Anna.
So hello again, everyone. I'm glad to have more time to explain better our project. So as I was saying, our main focus was to extract the pectin that is contained in the orange fruit. So this pectin is a natural polymer that can be used as a feedstock in our process. So our idea was to use this natural polymer to produce a biofilm that is a very thin pellicule that can be an alternative from conventional plastic. So as everybody saw in the video, you can use to wrap food or as flexible packages. It can be really useful. And the idea to use this material was because in Brazil we have a very important market regarding orange juice. So about 75% of orange juice exportation is from Brazil. So thinking about all the residue that could be used, that can be generated from this industry, we are proposing another solution, because nowadays the main solution that is used for the orange juice residue is animal food. So all the residue from orange juice industry is becoming animal food. And now we are trying to develop a new idea that is this biofilm that can have more value to our market, that can be a solution for the plastic material nowadays, because we know that plastic can take a really long time to disappear in the nature. So this is a very serious concern that we have nowadays. And mostly thinking about circular economy, we wanted to develop another solution. So that's our idea here. So now we could develop the material, but we wanted to scale up our process. So now we are studying an engineering project. So we are now calculating all the costs, all the materials that are going to be needed in a bigger scale of production. So here we are going to propose further research and further knowledge about our process and how it could be economic interesting. So if you have more questions about our process, how we could develop our material, all the tests that we've done, we could develop a formula that could be interesting and not really it is okay for the environment. So we are using all good materials and good feedstock to our product here. So thank you again to listening our idea. And if you have any questions, I'll be really pleased to answer at the end of the event. So contact us. I left our emails at the chat box. So thank you.
Thank you, Ana Carolina, and congratulations and many luck on your project. So we enter the third panel on fashion circular economy. The next speaker to present is Ms. Mojca Poberžnik, PhD, Head of Department Environmental Protection at iOS. Please, the word is yours.
So, yeah, I will take over actually instead of her. I would just kindly ask you if you can show the video, please.
Okay.
So, yes.
So I start with the video.
Maybe a few words before. So iOS is a R&D company which is located in Maribor in Slovenia. They offer a wide variety of services and know-how in the fields like water use, sensors, in the field of food quality, personal protection, security, environment. So really diverse portfolio. They are members of our strategic partnership, and they are also the front runners in Slovenia when it comes to recycling of textile. They have their own pilot plant here in Maribor, which will be presented at this video, which you will see in a few minutes. In this pilot plant, they currently have the capacity to recycle 100 tons of textile into new valuable products that can be then used in wood industry, in chemical industry, or also new fibers can be produced. So this recycled textile can then be reused again in the same industry. They are looking for investors in order to scale up this pilot plant, because if they would acquire additional funds, they could upgrade this pilot plant to 1,000 tons per year, for example, which would be quite an upgrade, and it would be then also easier to produce bigger quantities of secondary raw materials made from this recycled textile. For further question, I will write in the chat Moica's email. She is more than willing to answer any questions. She couldn't be with us today because of other obligations. But after seeing this video, I'm sure you will have some questions for her. So feel free to contact her. Thank you.
Thank you, Lina. Some technical problems. Let's try again. Yeah.
It seems that everything connected with me today has technical problems.
It was working till 5 minutes ago. It was really working. But maybe Nina, we go to the second video of the tech company and we come back to this one, okay?
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna stop share this one. So maybe you talk about now the Textina.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So Textina is another Slovene company, also member of our strategic partnership. Again, very present in textile industry. Textina is actually located in Ajdovščina, so in near the sea, across the country from Maribor. Their tradition is actually dating back to 1828. Today, they're one of the oldest textile producers with all fabrics made in the plant in Europe. So currently, they are actually collaborating, and they are project partners in a very big project co-financed by the European Commission. This project is called New Cotton Project, and the video will be showed here, hopefully. The project will be lasting for over a 3-year period, and they will actually create a cellulosic fiber out of recycled textile, and who will be then using this textile, which will be recycled, brands like Adidas and H&M Group. So it's a really big commitment from global players, and Textina is really happy to be part of this shift. They have very good R&D in this respect. They collaborated in other Horizon projects that finished before. They have the know-how on the production of recycled yarns from waste textile. For further questions, I will also leave the contact of their manager for research and development in the chat. And now I propose we move to the video.
Imagine a world where waste isn't wasted, where the fashion you buy, wear, and eventually dispose of is reused in a fully circular fashion industry. Today, our reality looks quite different. Most of our garments currently end up in a landfill or get incinerated. Only 1% enters closed-loop recycling. And in the next 10 years, it is predicted that we will consume 63% more garments than today. So we urgently need solutions to recycle high-quality fabrics from old garments, to reduce our waste, and reduce pressure on our Earth's precious resources. The new Cotton Project demonstrates a scalable solution for the future. 12 pioneering partners combine a collaborative circular ecosystem with innovative technology. Here they demonstrate a circular model for commercial garment production, ready to empower the industry towards a circular future. Frankenhaus collects and organizes suitable cotton-rich textile waste for processing. Zunk uses technology developed by Infinited Fiber Company to clean the feedstock and rid it of non-cellulosic materials like polyester. Infinited Fiber Company regenerates the remaining cellulose into Infina, a unique new textile fiber that looks and feels soft and natural like cotton. Manufacturers Innovafil, Textina and Kipas use the regenerated fibers to produce yarns, woven fabrics and denim. Revolve Waste, Rise and Aalto University will collect and provide data and conduct research and analysis to share with the industry. Fashion for Good will communicate key milestones and learnings to the industry. Adidas and H&M will design and manufacture clothing made from the reborn cotton, releasing capsule collections in 2022. To learn more, follow our journey on our website and social media channels.
Okay, thank you, Nina. I'm just gonna give it a try one more time to open the iOS video, and then we move forward to the last panel. Okay.
Okay.
You see it?
In the context of the circular economy, we are interested in recycling processes dealing with depolymerization of post-consumable, post-industrial, textile and plastic wastes. For that, we are using neutral hydrolysis processes, which are also environmentally friendly. The idea of circular business model here is to get from recycled textile and plastic waste secondary raw materials, which can be used as a platform chemicals or monomers in textile, plastic and other industry. The most significant advantage of chemical depolymerization is that we can circulate waste to the secondary raw materials. We are proud that we were able to scale up the chemical depolymerization processes, and we are able now to depolymerize more than 100 tons of textile and plastic waste per year. Demo pilot plant, it's a nice playground where to optimize all the processes, and we are even more proud that we can offer by the end of this year chemical depolymerization of polyester, textile and plastic waste to the market.
The pilot line consists of 3 reactors. The first one is intended for decoloration process for all synthetic and natural fibers. In the second one, high temperature, high pressure reactor, hydrolysis process is going on. And the third one is bioreactor intended for enzymatic hydrolysis of natural fibers.
We are looking for international partners to spread our activities also to other types of wastes. This year, due to emerging situation regarding lack of raw materials, recycling of textile and plastic waste to get valuable secondary raw materials represents significant business opportunity. Europe is also a big supporter in all those activities, especially with the opportunities within Green Deal.
Thank you. Thank you to also Ms. PhD Dr. Mojca for this presentation, and thank you, Nina, for your help. This leads us to the 4th panel, the last but not least, how to invest in Slovenia. Presenter Mr. Anže Spodlar, together with Timotej Kozar, founder partners, legal specialist bar of Kozar Legal and Venture Slovenia, European Trademark and Design Trinity. Please, Mr. Spodlar, the word is yours.
Thank you, Mateja. I hope you all see the presentation. Is it correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, hello, dear ladies and gentlemen, and good evening from Ljubljana here in Slovenia. Myself, Anže Spodlar, and my co-founding partner, Timotej Kozar, will give you some brief insight into the relevant legal and taxation matters regarding investment, with some emphasis on the circular economy. Otherwise, we come from Kozar Legal and Venture. We help companies and as legal counsels enter Slovenian market or establish company or cooperate with Slovenian company, among us. And as of lately, we are also here representatives for the Slovenia Global Business Network. So you can reach the network right from the heartland in person from now on. So to start, what we'll discuss today, let's say we have 3 short topics. One is green investment incentives relevant for investing in Slovenia. And the second one is investment screening, which has been lately introduced into our system. And then I will give the word to Timotej, who will explain some of the practical implications in legal and tax-wise regarding making an investment. So starting with the incentives, as of I think 1 week ago or 2 weeks ago, new legislation has been proposed, the draft law amending the Investment Protection Act, which will bring some extra incentives in the field, or will boost incentives in the field of green economy and circular economy. So it introduces 3 main pillars. One is increasing the share, or goals is increasing the share of investment with green and digital solutions. Secondly, it increases focus also on scale-up companies. Honestly, until now, the incentives were mostly given to large-scale manufacturers such as automotive and similar sectors. So hopefully from now on, the incentives will be spread more across many other also smaller scale-up companies. So, and one key point is that it aims for the transition from the supporting labor-intensive investments to supporting capital-intensive investments. And saying of this, so the two major key takeaways are that the draft law eliminates the condition of job creation for various investments, especially in the field of Greek, creative, and smart, which was also presented by a representative of Spirit earlier today. And the second main change is that the law changes criteria for granting investments, from now on more favoring the green investments, since in terms of assessing how green an investment is, each project or investment will need to score at least 40% of possible points for, let's say, being green enough, or otherwise it will not be able to acquire an incentive from the state. And also, on the other hand, the detrimental activities in terms of climate change and global warming will have to be excluded from getting a grant from the state. So how it works, there's a public tender, and then a grant is approved, hopefully. Who can apply? Investors can apply for an incentive, and both the tender and the assessment and approval of grants is operated by, is assessed by the Spirit Slovenia, the public agency. And if an investment is granted, then a tripartite co-financing agreement will be signed between the state, executed by Spirit Slovenia, the investor, and the company, the beneficiary of the final beneficiary of the investment. So what can be counted on in terms of getting a support? Costs of tangible or intangible assets are relevant to be subsidized by the grant, and the amount of grants that they are envisaged for to be granted is about 88 million euros, which is envisaged to be distributed among 59 projects. The second, let's say, subtopic is the foreign direct investment screening. Actually, this has been introduced by some COVID-related law here in Slovenia. Honestly, I don't really understand why, but this is the way it is right now. So what an FDI screening is, it's actually checking upfront of an investment if it is, let's say, if it poses risk or something similar that would require let's say, halting the investment of taking place. So only certain investments are subject to investment screening by the state, which is, in short, the critical, well, in the critical, so-called critical fields, that is either critical infrastructure, technologies, inputs, it's sensitive information, or involvement in some EU programs. As you can see, the scope of application seems quite wide. If you check this is actually directly from the law itself, but we'll see how it will work in practice. Honestly, I cannot give you an answer to that as of now. So something will have to happen before we can do it. Who is subject to investment screening? It is about any foreign entity. So it also affects the EU companies, entities, or physical persons that want to invest in Slovenia, not just so-called third countries in terms of EU. And there's a threshold for screening, which is the investment will be screened if it results in obtaining or acquiring at least 10% of assets, of capital or voting rights in a company that will be invested in. Where it applies both to mergers and acquisitions and also incorporations into Slovenia. Also some other fields such as real estate, but this is well, the major, let's say, the major transactions that will be screened will probably be in the field of M&A and incorporations. So what an investor should do: 15 days as of signing a merger agreement or takeover, or publishing a takeover bid, there needs to be a notification made to the state regarding an investment, and then in 2 months the application is either granted or denied. In the latter case, actually the transaction would be null and void. So therefore it is very important to check up front whether your investment might be subject to FDI screening or not. So thank you very much. That will be all from my side. Now I'll hand the word to Timotej, who will elaborate on certain key aspects regarding setting up an investment here and how it will be taxed. So Timotej, the word is yours.
Thank you, Anže, and also thank you to Slobraz for inviting us. We are happy to introduce some key aspects of investing in Slovenia. I assume that you are not tired hearing all those, let's say, prospective projects, some of which are progressing quite well, and are also, I think, commercially, let's say, feasible or viable. And well, why are we talking about investing? Because as we all know, circular economy is basically boosted by green tech. So green technology, which has to be to scale it up, well financed. So the cooperation worldwide will be, I think, more important than ever. And so I'm really happy to have people hearing this from all over the globe. So okay, how to invest in Slovenia? Basically, you have basically two options. You can either invest in Slovenian companies directly. So basically there are no limitation as to which entity, natural persons or legal persons, can invest in Slovenian companies. So basically you can be either from Brazil, from Peru, from China. You would be able to invest in the Slovenian company. Of course, another possibility, you can also establish a company in Slovenia, which then acquires shares in the existing company or forms any other kind of joint venture agreement with the existing companies. Basically, if you want to do business in Slovenia directly, so for example, if some technologies would be let's say need to be imported in Slovenia and presented on the Slovenian and EU market, some form of establishment in Slovenia is required. So you would have to basically establish a company or establish a branch in Slovenia, and then you are also able to enjoy all EU freedoms. As you all know, that Slovenia is a member of European Union since 2004. Okay, so as I said, there are no limitations for foreigners, for foreign companies, foreign natural persons. Everybody can invest in Slovenian companies. With regard to real estate, this is not the case. If your entity outside EU or EEA, you are not able to acquire real estate directly. So then in such a case, establishing a company in Slovenia would be required, and then such company would would eventually acquire or buy real estate in Slovenia. Some specific things to be aware of. You would have, in any case, have to acquire ID tax numbers. These are not numbers that are used for tax purposes, but for entering foreign entities into the Slovenian business register. And also the EU law requirement, which is applicable also in Slovenia, is that you would have to name beneficial owners. These are natural persons who are basically controlling the whole chain of companies, and would such natural persons as beneficial owners will have to be entered into the beneficial owner register, which is public in Slovenia. Okay, this is let's say some introductory let's say thoughts on investing in Slovenia. So we may proceed, Anže. Okay, so what types of companies are in Slovenia and what are their main characteristics? This is good to know as the form of company also affects the rights and possibilities of investors. So basically, we would have two main types of companies which are interested for investing. So limited liability company, this is the predominant form of companies in Slovenia, and joint stock companies. So basically, in both types of companies, the shares are freely transferable. You can transfer such shares to any person, foreigner, domestic entities. So there are no limitations as to that. However, the difference is that limited liability company is a closed type of the company. So there are statutory preemption rights of other shareholders. So if a shareholder wants to dispose of share in the company, other shareholders would have the right to buy such share at the price offered to outside investor. Well, the hindrance, or let's say what reduces transferability of shares in LLC in Slovenia is that shares can be only transferred with the involvement of a notary public. Well, the statutory requirement is that shares can be transferred only with the agreements concluded in a notarial deed. But this is the only requirement which is let's say applicable to transfer of shares as to the, let's say, formal requirement. The minimum share capital for LLC in Slovenia is 7,500 euros. LLCs are very popular because of the possibilities that you regulate shareholders and other relationship in company freely. One has to only respect some mandatory rules which are inherent to companies, to LLC in Slovenia. On the other side, joint stock companies, they have freely transferable shares. Maybe another thing, what is not so good for investing in Slovenia, but it doesn't hinder such processes. We don't have LLCs with stock shares, so we have to transfer each share with the help of a notary public. So basically, this is the only formality, as I said before. In joint stock companies, shares are freely transferable. There are only some limitations allowed in the company statute. So the company may have the right to oppose transfer in case of certain justifiable grounds which are regulated by the law. There are no statutory preemption rights. Minimum share capital is 25,000 euros, and the joint stock companies are more regulated, so you can deviate from statutory provisions only where this is allowed explicitly by the law, and we can move on. So this is the, let's say, the main characteristics for the investors to be aware of regarding companies. Okay, so let's proceed to tax matters, which are, of course, always relevant when considering investing. Basically, you would have to think about corporate income tax. Corporate income tax is payable by all legal entities, except some exceptions, doing business in Slovenia. Tax rate is 19%, whereas the tax base is basically the profit of a company. So excess of revenues over statutory permitted expenses. Very important, which I think this tax relief was also mentioned by Zoran. We have in Slovenia R&D tax relief, which is very important for in the field of circular economy, which is powered by mainly by green tech. Companies are allowed to invoke R&D tax relief in the amount of 100% of R&D investment. However, such investment can be invoked in a particular tax year only to the amount of payable tax. But you can extend and invoke such R&D tax relief in the period of 5 years, and then if there is not enough profit, such tax relief would eventually elapse, which is some things to consider in the future in terms of legislation. I think this particular tax relief, I think, would have to be drafted even more investor and companies friendly. Okay, we can proceed. Another thing to consider are, of course, dividends. So we mentioned before that we have 3 types of we can invest in Slovenia. Let's say in 3 ways. We can either a natural person can directly acquire shares in the Slovenian company. Also, this also applies for legal entity. Or the third option is, of course, we can first establish let's say SPV, legal entity, a company in Slovenia, which is of course Slovenian tax resident. For non-resident natural person, the advanced personal income tax in the amount of 27.5% is paid on every dividend and similar payments acquired from the company. This is of course thing to have in mind. Of course, double taxation treaties may apply, but this is dependent on a particular case. Then non-resident legal entities which hold shares in the Slovenian company, in the companies which are not EEA or EU incorporated, would have to pay 15% withholding tax on every dividends on each dividend paid by the Slovenian company. There is a thing to remember. If for a foreign legal entity, if there is a permanent business unit established in Slovenia, then to such unit corporate income tax for the same as for the Slovenian companies would apply. But if there is no such permanent business units established in Slovenia, only 15% withholding tax on dividends will have to be paid. And special rules apply for EU and EA incorporated entities. But this is, let's say, a topic for maybe another time. Then resident legal entities, if you have SPV established in Slovenia, which holds shares in another Slovenian company, there is exemption of dividends from income tax basis. So dividends would not be taxed with corporate tax income, corporate income tax in Slovenia. Okay, so the last thing to remember with regarding to tax in Slovenia or taxation in Slovenia are capital gains. So basically we have again three possibilities, three types of investors. So basically natural person, non-resident natural person as a holder of shares in Slovenian companies, non-resident legal entity or resident legal entity as established SPV. For non-resident natural person, when investor, for example, sells its share in the Slovenian company, the following capital gain tax will have to be paid. Up to 5 years of ownership, the tax rate is 27.5% paid on the profit acquired by the investor when selling its share, and then the tax rate is dropping with the period of holding shares. And one thing we forgot to put on the board, which is the most important, after 20 years, no capital gain tax is payable in Slovenia, and we forgot to put that on. But that's a thing to remember, because we are one of a few nations which regulate a capital gain tax in such a manner, and this is very investor friendly. And another thing maybe to mention is no tax is paid if the sole share is not a part of the majority share. So if investor holds less than 10% in the company, no capital gain tax would be paid. Then non-resident legal entity, here is another thing to remember. In Slovenia, no tax is paid on capital gain. So for example, if a Brazilian entity would invest in a Slovenian company, and after a certain period of investing, it would sell its shares in the Slovenian company, no tax would be paid on the profit gained by the investor when selling its shares. So this is very, let's say, investor friendly, let's say, a provision or a possibility when considering investing in Slovenia. Of course, if in Slovenia is permanent business unit established, then such investor would be let's say, would have to pay tax the same as the Slovenian entities, which are presented in the next column. With corporate, it would be tax with corporate income tax, but only for 50% of capital gain would be taxed, and 50% of capital gain would be exempted from the tax basis, and the capital gain would be paid only on the 50% share of profit. And of course, also in these cases, double taxation treaties may apply depending on the double taxation treaties and from which state the company or natural person, of course, resides. And this, I think, would be all from our side. We are too long, but nonetheless, I hope if there are any questions, of course, you can contact us anytime. And thank you for participating.
So I'm gonna give a round of applause to you because this was really, really, really exhausting, detailed, and hope we don't get charged for this consulting. Thank you, Mr. Skoda. Thank you, Mr. Koza, for such a valuable insights, the regulation on how to invest in Slovenia. Hopefully this will be very helpful to people who has the interest to do that. In case if you need any legal consulting on that field or other, please contact Skoda Legal Venture. Leave your contacts in chat box. So with that, we will go ahead and take some time for questions. If we still have the chat box, the meeting is now open for sharing. If anyone has any questions or comments, and before we wrap up, so please do. You can open your microphone. You don't have to put in chat. So we hope that this conference had a positive outcomes from this event, and we have come to the end. Of course, it was a pleasure being with you all today. Such an important matter. Such an important topic. I would like to thank everyone who made this meeting possible, and thank to presenters for his and her presentation. Thank you all once again for coming. We hope to see you on our next conference. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you all.
And that's a wrap.
Thank you.